Most people think of electrolytes as something athletes consume after a long workout. However, what if I told you that these four minerals, magnesium, sodium, potassium, and calcium, are not just hydration helpers? They are, in fact, the electrical code that keeps your brain firing, your muscles contracting, your heart beating, and your energy stable throughout the day. These are not optional nutrients. They are life-essential conductors that influence how you think, how you feel, and how you move. And science is now uncovering a deeper truth. As the human body ages, its ability to regulate and retain these electrolytes begins to decline, even in individuals who eat well. The result? Symptoms that are often chalked up to just getting older: brain fog, muscle cramps, low energy, disrupted sleep, and unexpected changes in mood. However, in many cases, the issue is not age, it is imbalance. What is happening in your body when just one of these minerals is depleted is a chain reaction across multiple systems. Your nervous system becomes more excitable, your heart rate becomes less stable, and your blood sugar becomes more difficult to control. Studies show that even mild electrolyte imbalances increase the risk of falls, cognitive decline, and cardiovascular events, especially in adults over the age of 50. Here is the good news. You can correct this, often within days, using science-backed protocols that go far beyond sports drinks. In this episode, we are going to explore the big four electrolytes: magnesium, sodium, calcium, and potassium, not just as supplements, but as essential levers of daily performance and long-term resilience. You will learn what each mineral does in your body, what depletion feels like, and how to restore balance using specific foods, timing strategies, and hydration techniques that work with your biology. Whether you are looking to enhance mental clarity, avoid midday crashes, improve physical strength, or simply age with more vitality, this conversation will give you the tools. Because when it comes to longevity and daily performance, the real power is not just in what you add, it is in what you restore. Magnesium is often referred to as the master mineral in neuroscience and nutritional medicine, and with good reason. It plays a central role in over 300 enzymatic processes that regulate everything from energy production to muscle contraction to neurocommunication. What many people do not realize is how deeply magnesium affects the nervous system and cognitive function, especially as we age. One of its most powerful roles is in regulating neuronal excitability. It does this by acting as a natural gatekeeper for NMDA receptors in the brain, which control the flow of calcium into neurons. Without sufficient magnesium, these receptors become overstimulated, leading to increased stress sensitivity, mental fatigue, and even poor sleep. Magnesium also supports the production of gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA, the brain's primary calming neurotransmitter. That is why a magnesium deficiency can lead to symptoms such as anxiety, difficulty falling asleep, and reduced emotional resilience. A study published in PLOS One in 2017 showed that magnesium supplementation significantly improved sleep quality and reduced nighttime cortisol levels in older adults, suggesting its direct role in restoring circadian balance. But magnesium's role extends beyond the brain. It helps regulate muscular contraction and relaxation, which means it is essential for avoiding cramps, maintaining good posture, and supporting physical performance. It is also crucial for ATP production, the body's cellular energy currency, which means that low magnesium often shows up as unexplained fatigue or low stamina. Magnesium depletion is common in people over the age of 40 due to several converging factors: lower dietary intake, reduced absorption in the gut, and greater loss through stress, alcohol, and certain medications such as diuretics or proton pump inhibitors. Have you ever felt tense or mentally sluggish, even after a full night of sleep? That may not be burnout. It could be your body signaling that it is depleted. A simple tool to begin correcting this is to incorporate more magnesium-rich foods into your meals, such as pumpkin seeds, almonds, spinach, dark chocolate, avocado, and black beans. In some cases, especially for people under consistent stress or with poor digestion, supplementation may be helpful. Magnesium glycinate is known for its calming effects and good bioavailability, while magnesium L-threonate has shown promise in animal studies for enhancing cognitive function and synaptic plasticity. A simple protocol would be to take 200 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate in the evening, 1 to 2 hours before sleep. If your digestive system is sensitive, start on the lower end and build up slowly. What is happening in your brain when you do this is not just relaxation, it is stabilization. Magnesium acts as a buffer against excess stimulation, making it easier for your nervous system to enter a restorative state. That is why magnesium is often called the relaxation mineral. But it is more than that. It is a recovery mineral, a resilience mineral, and a cognitive performance mineral. By restoring magnesium, you are not just improving sleep or easing tension. You are helping your body and brain return to their natural rhythm. You are giving your cells the capacity to regulate, recharge, and remain resilient in the face of stress. It is one of the simplest, most research-backed changes you can make to support aging with strength and clarity. Sodium is one of the most misunderstood electrolytes in modern nutrition. For decades, it has been primarily associated with high blood pressure and cardiovascular risk, leading many people, especially those over the age of 40, to restrict it aggressively. But emerging research paints a much more nuanced picture. Sodium is not just a seasoning. It is a critical regulator of fluid balance, nerve conduction, and muscular function. Your body relies on sodium to generate electrical signals in your brain and nervous system. Every time a nerve sends a signal or a muscle contracts, sodium ions are involved. Without enough sodium, your cells cannot maintain proper hydration or electrical charge, which can lead to symptoms such as dizziness, fatigue, muscle weakness, and even brain fog. This becomes especially important for people following low-carbohydrate diets, intermittent fasting, or engaging in regular physical activity, because all of these increase sodium loss through urine and sweat. One study published in the American Journal of Medicine found that individuals with both very low and very high sodium intakes had increased risk of health complications, meaning the goal is balance, not elimination. Have you ever experienced a sudden drop in energy or focus after a long walk, sauna session, or an extended period without food? That could be due to sodium depletion. Sodium is also closely tied to blood volume. When levels drop too low, blood pressure can dip, reducing blood flow to the brain and resulting in symptoms like lightheadedness or mental cloudiness. This is particularly relevant in adults over the age of 50 who may already have lower blood pressure or be on medications that increase sodium loss, such as diuretics. A powerful protocol for restoring balance is to include a pinch of high-quality sea salt or Himalayan salt in your water during the day, especially if you are sweating or fasting. You can also support healthy sodium levels through whole foods such as bone broth, pickled vegetables, celery, and olives, each of which delivers sodium in its natural matrix, along with other beneficial nutrients. Another effective strategy is to use an electrolyte supplement that contains balanced ratios of sodium, potassium, and magnesium, particularly in the morning and post-exercise. It is important to note that processed foods often contain sodium in isolated and excessive amounts, which is where the negative health outcomes tend to appear. But when sodium is consumed alongside potassium, and in the context of whole foods, it tends to support rather than hinder health. What is happening in your nervous system when sodium is present in the right amount is an increase in stability and efficiency. Nerve signals transmit more clearly, muscles recover more quickly, and your cognitive sharpness returns. Sodium also plays a key role in adrenal function. The adrenal glands release a hormone called aldosterone, which regulates sodium retention. During periods of stress or adrenal fatigue, sodium levels can drop, leading to fatigue and salt cravings. If this insight is helping you, consider subscribing. There is more where this came from. Bringing sodium back into balance is not about dumping salt on every meal. It is about being aware of your body's actual needs, your level of activity, your fluid intake, and the way you feel throughout the day. When used intentionally, sodium becomes a tool for performance, recovery, and even mood regulation. It helps you think, move, and age with more energy and clarity. Potassium is the stabilizer of your internal environment, working quietly but powerfully to maintain electrical balance across your cells, especially in your muscles, brain, and heart. It is the electrolyte that counterbalances sodium and plays a key role in nerve transmission, muscle contraction, fluid regulation, and blood pressure control. While sodium operates mostly outside your cells, potassium works primarily inside them, creating a gradient that drives the sodium-potassium pump, a cellular mechanism essential for energy production and neurological precision. When potassium levels drop too low, the consequences can be subtle at first: fatigue, muscle weakness, poor concentration, but they can quickly escalate into muscle cramps, irregular heartbeat, and even high blood pressure. What is happening inside your body is a breakdown in the electrical signaling system that allows your nerves and muscles to communicate effectively. Research published in the Journal of the American Heart Association shows that a higher intake of dietary potassium is strongly linked with lower blood pressure and reduced cardiovascular risk, particularly in adults consuming moderate to high levels of sodium. Potassium essentially helps the blood vessels relax, making it easier for the heart to pump and for nutrients and oxygen to flow throughout the body. It also improves insulin sensitivity and supports glucose metabolism, which is critical for those managing weight or blood sugar as they age. A study from Diabetes Care found that individuals with lower blood potassium levels were significantly more likely to develop type 2 diabetes, even when other factors were controlled. That is because potassium helps cells respond to insulin more effectively, aiding in the uptake of glucose and preventing excess sugar from lingering in the bloodstream. If you have ever experienced muscle twitching, fatigue after eating, or mood dips in the afternoon, potassium deficiency might be part of the picture. So, how do you restore it? The best tool is food. Potassium is abundant in whole, plant-rich foods that are also loaded with fiber and antioxidants. Avocados, sweet potatoes, spinach, lentils, bananas, white beans, and coconut water are excellent sources. Leafy greens like Swiss chard and beet greens are especially high in potassium and often overlooked. A helpful habit is to include at least one potassium-rich food with every meal, which helps maintain steady levels throughout the day. Unlike sodium, potassium is generally underconsumed in the modern diet, with most adults falling well below the recommended daily intake of 4,700 milligrams. This gap becomes even more important to address as we age, since kidney function and hormonal shifts can affect how potassium is processed. If you are sweating regularly, taking diuretics, or following a low-carbohydrate or fasting regimen, your potassium needs may be higher than average. Have you noticed that after exercise or sauna use, you feel depleted or mentally flat despite hydrating? That could be due to potassium loss. One simple protocol is to use an electrolyte blend that includes at least 200 milligrams of potassium per serving, especially post-exercise or during longer fasting periods. However, because high-dose potassium supplements can be risky if taken properly, it is best to prioritize food sources and use targeted supplements only when needed. Potassium is not just a nutrient, it is a neurological and muscular tuning fork. When levels are balanced, you feel steadier, more focused, and more energized. It allows your cells to fire with precision, your heart to beat with rhythm, and your muscles to respond with power. It helps you regulate blood sugar, manage cravings, and even improve your mood. By focusing on whole foods, hydration, and listening to your body's signals, you can restore this essential mineral and unlock a more stable, responsive, and high-performing physiology. Calcium is often thought of as the mineral for bone health, but its impact reaches far beyond the skeleton. It is a core signaling molecule, controlling how your muscles contract, how your heart maintains rhythm, and how your brain processes information. While 99% of your calcium is stored in bones and teeth, The remaining 1% circulating in your blood and moving in and out of cells is responsible for some of the body's most critical functions. That small fraction is tightly regulated because too much or too little can disrupt everything from mental clarity to muscle performance. One of calcium's most vital roles is in neurotransmitter release. Now, how does this release every time a neuron sends a message to another cell, whether to activate a muscle, regulate mood, or support memory? Calcium flows into the nerve ending and triggers the release of signaling chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. This is why low calcium levels are often associated with brain fog, low energy, and emotional instability. A 2018 study in Frontiers in Molecular Neuroscience noted that age disruptions in calcium signaling are a contributing factor in cognitive decline and neurodegeneration. As the body ages, its ability to maintain optimal calcium balance can weaken, especially in the presence of vitamin D or magnesium deficiency. What is happening at the cellular level is a gradual breakdown in the precision of electrical signaling, leading to slower reaction times, weaker muscle control, and even sleep disturbances. Calcium is also a key player in cardiovascular health. It helps blood vessels expand and contract, regulates the heartbeat, and assists in transmitting impulses across the heart muscle. When calcium is too low, the heart may beat irregularly. When it is unbalanced with magnesium or vitamin K, it can accumulate in arteries, contributing to vascular calcification. This is especially relevant for individuals over the age of 40, as bone density begins to decline and hormonal changes, particularly in women, affect calcium absorption. Estrogen helps the body retain calcium, so during menopause, as estrogen decreases, calcium losses increase. A powerful protocol for protecting calcium balance starts with nutrition. Leafy greens such as kale, bok choy, and collard greens provide absorbable calcium along with vitamin K. Sardines and canned salmon with bones deliver calcium in a highly usable form along with omega-3 fats and vitamin D. Fermented dairy like kefir and yogurt also supports calcium uptake while benefiting gut health. What matters is not just how much calcium you consume, but how well your body is using it. That is why cofactors like magnesium and vitamin D are so important. Without enough magnesium, calcium may not enter cells efficiently. Without vitamin K, calcium can end up in the wrong tissues, such as arteries instead of bones. A 2013 review in the Journal of Nutrition highlighted that calcium supplementation without proper magnesium and vitamin K2 intake may increase cardiovascular risk rather than reduce it. If you are over 40 and concerned about bone density, mobility, or cognitive aging, it is not enough to simply add more calcium. You must also ensure balance. Resistance training and weight-bearing exercise send a strong signal to the body to retain and build bone using available calcium. Movement creates microstress in bones, which in turn stimulates remodeling and growth. One study in Osteoporosis International found that women over the age of 50 who performed regular resistance training maintained significantly higher bone mineral density than those who were sedentary, even when their dietary calcium intake was modest. What is happening during movement is the activation of bones, of circulation, of neuromuscular pathways, and calcium is central to every part of that process. Have you ever noticed improved posture, fewer muscle twitches, or more stable energy after making simple dietary changes? That could be your calcium system coming back online. Calcium is not just about preventing fractures, it is about powering the systems that allow you to stand tall, think clearly, and move freely. With proper attention to food, movement, and nutrient synergy, calcium can become one of the most stabilizing and empowering minerals in your health strategy. As we move through midlife and beyond, our ability to regulate electrolytes begins to shift in subtle but impactful ways. Aging affects nearly every system involved in electrolyte balance. The kidneys become less efficient at conserving key minerals, hormone production changes, and digestion and absorption may slow, especially under chronic stress. The result is that minerals like magnesium, sodium, potassium, and calcium so essential for muscle performance, brain function, and energy metabolism, can slowly become imbalanced, often without dramatic symptoms at first. You might notice vague signs: morning fatigue, brain fog, muscle stiffness, dizziness when standing up, or mood fluctuations that do not quite make sense. What is happening inside the body is a breakdown in the signaling systems that keep your cells hydrated and electrically stable. The adrenal glands, which play a major role in managing sodium and potassium through the hormone aldosterone, tend to weaken in responsiveness with age and long-term stress. That means your body may lose more sodium through urine or fail to retain potassium effectively, both of which impact blood pressure, hydration, and nerve conduction. Medications common in midlife, like diuretics, blood pressure drugs, or antacids, can accelerate this loss, often without patients being told how to counteract it. Nutritionally, a 2020 review in the Journal of Geriatric Medicine found that mild but chronic electrolyte imbalances were associated with poorer physical function, reduced cognitive performance, and higher risk of falls in adults over the age of 60. These are not just lab values, they translate directly into how you feel and function day to day. Have you ever noticed that you feel more mentally drained after physical activity than you did in your younger years? Or that hot weather now makes you feel sluggish instead of energized? Those are signs that your electrolyte system may not be adapting as quickly as it once did. A powerful first tool is simply awareness. Tune in to how your body responds after sweating, fasting, long walks, or emotional stress. Is your energy rebounding quickly, or does it stay flat for hours? Are you craving salt, feeling more dehydrated, or waking up with tension headaches? Those are cues. The next step is rebuilding electrolyte resilience through daily habits. A foundational protocol is to begin your morning with a full glass of water mixed with a pinch of high-quality sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. This helps reset hydration, stimulate digestion, and provide a gentle sodium boost to support adrenal function. Throughout the day, eating a variety of whole foods rich in potassium, magnesium, and calcium reinforces balance without needing megadoses of any one mineral. And for active individuals, sauna users, or following lower carbohydrate diets, a thoughtfully formulated electrolyte blend, one that includes sodium, potassium, magnesium, and no added sugars, can dramatically improve how the brain and body perform under stress. You do not need a diagnosis to benefit from electrolyte tuning. Most imbalances start before anything ever shows up on blood work. That is why listening to your body's feedback, muscle tension, fatigue, water retention, mental sharpness, is a more immediate guide than waiting for clinical deficiency. What is happening in your brain when electrolytes are optimized is faster nerve conduction, better hydration between neurons, and more efficient energy conversion. What is happening in your muscles is smoother contraction and quicker recovery. What is happening in your cardiovascular system is steadier blood pressure, better circulation, and reduced stress on the heart. Electrolyte balance is not just for athletes or people who are sick. It is for anyone who wants to stay sharp, steady, and strong through the natural shifts of aging. The good news is that these imbalances are often reversible, and the correction begins with awareness, hydration, and the right blend of minerals delivered through food, movement, and intention. Creating an effective electrolyte protocol does not require radical changes. It simply requires strategic habits built with consistency and awareness. As we have explored, magnesium, sodium, potassium, and calcium each play distinct but interconnected roles in supporting hydration, nerve function, muscle coordination, and overall energy. The key to maintaining balance as we age is not just knowing their benefits, but understanding how to layer them into your day so your body always has what it needs to perform and recover. Start your day with an intentional hydration ritual. Upon waking, your body is in a naturally dehydrated state, especially after 7 to 8 hours of water loss through respiration. Drinking a full glass of water with a pinch of high-quality sea salt or an electrolyte mix that contains sodium, magnesium, and potassium helps jumpstart cellular hydration, support adrenal function, and wake up your brain. Adding a squeeze of lemon or a splash of apple cider vinegar can further enhance absorption and digestion. If you drink coffee in the morning, which is a mild diuretic, this foundational hydration becomes even more important. From there, build your meals around whole foods that provide consistent mineral-rich nourishment. Avocados, leafy greens, lentils, sardines, nuts, and seeds are excellent choices. Bone broth, seaweed, yogurt, sweet potatoes, and legumes can each bring in additional electrolytes, especially when eaten across a diverse weekly rotation. Think of your meals as opportunities to microdose your electrolyte intake, not as a place for quick fixes or isolated megadoses. During the afternoon, especially if you experience a natural energy dip or increased tension, that is a great time for a light electrolyte top-up. A few slices of avocado with sea salt, a cup of broth, or a low-sugar electrolyte drink can quickly restore fluid and mineral balance. If you engage in physical activity, sauna, or extended periods of focused work, consider sipping on an electrolyte solution that contains sodium and potassium during the activity and magnesium after. Magnesium in the evening helps support parasympathetic recovery, reduce nighttime cortisol, and enhance the body's natural repair processes during sleep. A well-timed dose of 200 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate or citrate taken an hour before bed can be remarkably effective for both sleep quality and muscular relaxation. What is happening in your brain and body when you follow a consistent protocol like this is a return to electrical and metabolic efficiency. Your neurons fire more accurately, your muscles contract and relax with better coordination, your cardiovascular system stays stable under stress. Most importantly, your energy becomes sustainable, not just momentary peaks, but steady mental and physical clarity throughout the day. Have you noticed that some days your mind is calm and focused without effort? Your body feels more fluid, and you move through stress more easily? That is what happens when your electrolytes are working in synergy. If this resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe. We are building a channel committed to practical, science-backed tools like this that help you stay strong, sharp, and grounded through every decade of life. The beauty of an electrolyte protocol is that it is simple, actionable, and measurable. You can feel the difference. You can see the improvement in your focus, sleep, muscle recovery, and emotional stability. It is not a supplement trend. It is biology applied with purpose. And once it becomes a part of your rhythm, it does not just help you avoid problems. It helps you perform. It helps you show up fully, physically, mentally, emotionally, every single day. We have covered a lot in this deep dive on electrolytes, and hopefully what is becoming clear is that these four minerals are not just supporting players in your health. They are central to how you think, move, sleep, and age. Magnesium helps regulate the brain's stress response and sleep architecture. Sodium keeps your nervous system sharp and your energy levels stable. Potassium maintains cellular electrical balance, supports heart rhythm, and protects metabolic health. Calcium controls muscular precision, neural signaling, and bone integrity. Each of these minerals is powerful on its own, but together they create a physiological harmony that determines how well your body functions across decades. As we grow older, our ability to maintain this internal balance becomes more fragile, but it also becomes more important. Electrolyte loss from stress, movement, medication, and dietary habits tends to go unnoticed until symptoms become chronic: poor recovery, low energy, sleep disruption, or mental fog. But now with awareness, you can shift. You can implement small, powerful actions that give your brain and body what they need to perform. A great place to begin is with a morning ritual. A tall glass of mineralized water with sea salt and lemon. This starts the day with hydration, adrenal support, and cellular charge. Throughout the day, eat foods that naturally replenish electrolytes: leafy greens for calcium and potassium, olive and beans for magnesium, olives and broth for sodium. Move your body. Movement enhances electrolyte utilization and helps prevent the stagnation that leads to inflammation and fatigue. After exertion, use an electrolyte mix that does not contain added sugars, but does contain a balanced blend of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. In the evening, support recovery with a magnesium supplement, especially if you have trouble sleeping or notice signs of muscular tension. These actions are not complicated. They are rhythmic. They reconnect you with your biology. What is happening when you apply them is a deep rebalancing of the systems that regulate resilience, cognition, and cellular vitality. You are giving your body the signal that it is supported. You are giving your brain the tools it needs to think clearly. You are creating a stable foundation for strength, not just now, but for years to come. The deeper message in all of this is that your body is not broken. It is simply responsive. It is constantly adapting to the signals it receives, and when you begin sending it the right ones, you will be amazed at how quickly things shift. Sleep becomes deeper, focus becomes easier, recovery becomes faster, and emotional regulation begins to feel natural again. If there is one thing to try starting today, it is the morning hydration protocol. 1 glass of water with a pinch of salt and a squeeze of lemon. Nothing more. See how your brain feels 30 minutes later. See how your body responds. That one action begins to restore the terrain that allows all other systems to thrive. And if this video has been valuable to you, if the tools, science, and strategies have helped you feel more capable in your health journey, I would love for you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below about what resonated most. We are building a community here of people who are not interested in shortcuts or gimmicks, but in grounded, evidence-based approaches to thriving at every age. This is a space for people who want to understand how the body and mind work and how to work with them, not against them. So thank you for being here, and thank you for investing in your health with curiosity and consistency. The more you support your foundation, the higher you can grow. Until next time, stay strong, stay sharp, and stay well.